All right, guys, we are back. It's Monday. It's a new week. I had a crazy week last week. This week's probably not going to be much better. I'm sorry I only streamed a couple of days, but we got a crazy video today. Joe Biden in the news again, and cancer. Not good. Not a good thing. So, it is very aggressive. It is like the worst of the worst. It's like stage 5. It's crazy. Everything I've read is it's very, 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 very terminal cancer for Joe. And I know there's, as always, guys, anytime there's any political news or anything like this, there's just idiots from both sides. And that's what you are, frankly, is you're idiots, okay? Um, Regardless of anything, I find it very hard to believe. Like, there's people saying, "Oh, well, they had to have known. It takes this many years for this to metastasize." It's like, okay, great, but at the end of the day, the man's going to die. Okay, now everyone dies, right? So there's that. But I find it very hard to believe that, especially the people blaming his wife and saying there's no way she didn't know. Um, I really don't care if they knew, right? Like, the fact of the matter is did they probably know that he had cancer, considering his office that he held and his age and the amount of checkups he probably was doing? I would find it very hard to believe that there wasn't indicators of this that would have tipped them off, especially with uh, what people are saying about this. I would find that very, very difficult to believe that they had no idea. But that being said, it's still a man who has, a family and kids. Um, and regardless of what we think of one of his kids, right? His other one was, died in service. And I'm assuming, they probably don't think that he's the worst man in the world, right? Now, um, if you go on Twitter, if you go on Instagram, if you go on any social media, uh, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, guys, this is just not cool. It's not. It's sad. The former person who sat in the White House is probably going to die relatively soon. Now, there's a lot of people saying as well that, well, yeah, he was going to anyway, right? Like, he was already going through dementia and going through all this other stuff. And to be honest, I would rather die of cancer than dementia 100 times out of 100, right? Like, at least when you die with cancer, you know who all your family and friends are, and you can look back on your life and you can kind of have that reflective period, right? From somebody who I watched my grandpa die from Alzheimer's to the point where he didn't know anybody, and I still remember the last time I saw him, and he wasn't. It wasn't the guy I knew at all, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And so, um, having seen that and personally gone through things like that, I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's got grandkids who looked up to him. Right? He became the president of the United States. There's people in his life who are really proud of him, and there's people in his life who really love him. Uh, and so I'm never going to wish ill on somebody, regardless of how I feel about them, when they get a diagnosis like this. So, regardless of what you guys may think, regardless of the conspiracy theories, regardless of all the information that comes out, it does not change the underlying fact that this man's life is probably going to be over sooner than later. And again, at his age, now he's in pretty good health for his age, to be honest with you, not mentally, but like physically, like when you compare him to most other 80-year-olds, he's not in like terrible shape or anything like that health wise. So, um, hopefully he's able to, spend the time how he wants. He's earned that, if nothing else, right? The guy was, stealing our tax dollars for 40 years. So, uh, he hopefully has earned enough, and from the kickbacks that we all paid with our tax dollars and from the Ukraine war kickbacks, that hopefully he can hang out and have a good time. And, you know, I can't say he's earned that part, but I think any person who's gone through that level of scrutiny and that level of press for that long, deserves some peace at the end. So, Now, what his judgment is in the next life, that's not for me to decide, and that's not for you to decide. Neither of us are perfect people. So I'm I'm sad that there's a guy who's going through this, and especially as somebody who was the former president. Um, yeah. So that's my thoughts. I don't think people need to be assholes about this. They will, because our country's just full of retards behind keyboards. But in real life, if this happened to your neighbor, if this happened to your friend, you'd feel bad for him. But because we feel this weird sense of disconnect because we're watching on a screen, we can be assholes to somebody who has cancer. And obviously, anyone who knows me knows I've been extremely outspoken against this man. I think he was, and I think he will go down as the worst president in the history of the United States of America so far. And I always throw the so far in there because records are made to be broken. Um, but I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that if this was if Joe was my neighbor, I'd feel bad for Joe. I'd bring him and his wife a gift basket. I'd see how they're doing. I'd want to see if he need anything. See if even if he just wanted a friend to talk to. I probably wouldn't go on a bike ride with him. Just because I don't want to be responsible for that shit. But no, I do feel bad for him and his wife and his family. That's never something you want to go through. And I hope that anyone who's wishing ill on him understands that and stops doing that, because I think the best thing for them to do is just let this guy ride off in the sunset, right? Just let him go away. There's no need to just absolutely add more pain to this guy's current status. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, with his mental state, he may wake up every day and find out he has cancer. You never know, right? So, uh, I'm assuming he's probably going through a lot, and I would imagine it will deteriorate very quickly for him. I will bet he does not make it through the rest of 2025. Just given his mental state, given his age, given the aggressive stage of this cancer, um, I don't think he's got any fight left in him. I think it's one of those things where, you know, it's going to go pretty quick. And so I just hope that he doesn't have to go through a lot of pain, and that he gets to say goodbye to the people that he loves, and that he gets to spend time around them. And if he gets to do that, whatever he has to answer for in the next life is on him, and that's his choice. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Do all the YouTube shit as usual. And thank you so much for your support.